So it was a very interesting session. We got off to a bit of a rocky start, and I think that was well covered in the newspapers. And a lot of that was how the House deals with the Constitution and how we read bills and how we do business. And what I think the benefit of that experience is that we all became much more familiar with the rules. We all packed around our little red book of House and Senate rules and joint rules, and our Mason's book of rules, which is what we're not Robert's Rules of Order in the legislature, we're Masons, which is a little bit different. And I continue to be studying that because that's a really important component of how we do business. So it's good to know how that works. I actually had nine bills that passed out of 11 bills that I sponsored this year. And I wanted to talk about just a few of those bills as they are bills that came from this district, and those bills are those that I'm particularly proud of. The first one, House Bill 41, was enacting federal law in Idaho. It's called the ABLE Act, and it's a federal way for those people on Medicaid disability to save money. Right now, those folks can only save up to $2,000, and if they go over the $2,000, they are at risk of losing all their benefits. And I had a couple of constituents come and talk to me about how they're working, and they would like to be able to save up for changes to their vehicles, for new wheelchairs, for changes to their home. And these ABLE savings, it's Americans for Better Life Experiences is what ABLE stands for. These citizens really wanted to be able to have some control over some of the things that were important to them. These ABLE accounts are a little bit like a health savings account, so they're very specific in how they can be used. And we started about 18 months ago working on how that might look in Idaho. And in the middle of our conversation, the federal law changed and allowed other states to set up ABLE accounts for states outside of their area. And so we kind of changed course in the middle of it, and so we are working with other states, and we have one half-time position through the State Independent Living Council to help and spread the word about this program and how it can benefit folks across the state. So I was very excited about that. The second bill, House Bill 81, was on behalf of Gritman. As many of you know, they've been working on a partnership for the Blues for an oncology program. And you know, cancer certainly touched my family's life a lot, and they've struggled to recruit an oncologist to this region. They were able to identify someone who is eligible for a J1 visa, but Idaho's program didn't allow for us to recruit specialists through the J1 visa program. So this bill allows, of those 30 J1 visas that we are allotted every year, that 10 of them can go towards specialists. And those visas have to go to healthcare organizations that are serving rural communities. However, if it is a healthcare system that is based in an urban area, and I think St. Luke's is a great example, they have a little clinic that I drive by every time I go back and forth to Boise in Riggins. So if they hired somebody in Riggins, they could do it through a J1 visa. I worked really closely with a Boise State graduate who is the executive director of our college savings program in Idaho, the IDEAL program. And that program was established in 2000 and allows families to save through a 529 program, which is a federal program. And in Idaho, they could deduct about $4,000 per taxpayer on their Idaho taxes. And it hadn't been changed since 2000, although college tuition and fees has gone up over 180% since that program was established. by Representative Jordan. And so we changed that so now that it's $6,000 per filer. So if you're filing jointly, you can save up to $12,000 through a 529 program. That is a great program, and if you're considering saving for your family, it's pretty broad. It goes to any university or college that is accredited by the American Education. I'm getting brain dead on this. Anyway, it goes to national and international programs, although the top 10, all Idaho colleges and universities are in the top 10 of where our Idaho savings programs are going. So those are the one bill that I was really excited about that didn't pass, and I guess change is hard, is I did a House rule for remote testimony. And this kind of goes back to my first year in the legislature when I was working on a cottage food bill, and I had a constituent out in Troy who has an organic farm, and she really wanted to come and testify, but she couldn't afford the time away from the farm. She's a homeschooler, so from her kids. And so we split a plane ticket so that she could come down and testify. Well, that's when I was pretty young and a little naive about how the process works. And the hearing got postponed and then rescheduled, and eventually the bill got pulled. And so we ended up eating a plane ticket between the two of us. And it really bothered me that we're not able to have citizens easily testify before committees. And so I proposed some rules. I've worked with the Legislative Services Office. I've worked with the University of Idaho Extension and some other organizations about finding a way for us to connect those folks that live more than 100 miles from Boise in to be able to testify at a distance. And, you know, I'm going to keep after this because I think it's really important for our rural voice to get heard, especially as it's getting more and more urbanized in Idaho. So those are my big focuses this year, and I was pretty pleased that I got 9 out of 11 of them passed. So, do you want me to pass this to?
Go ahead and do it.